ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is video number 7 on the teachings of Lord Kapila. This video starts with chapter number 6, text number 7. Devhuti desires transcendental knowledge. Devhutir uvacha nirvana nitaram bhuman asad indriya tarsant yena sambhave manena prapanne dham tamaha prabho. Translation. Devhuti said, I am very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses, for because of this sense disturbance, my lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. Purport. Here at the beginning of Devhuti's questionings, the word Asad Indriya Tasanat is significant. Asat means impermanent, temporary. Indriya means senses, and Tarsanat refers to agitation. Thus, Asad Indriya Tarsanat means from being agitated by the temporarily manifest senses of the material body, we are evolving through different species of material bodily existence, sometimes in a human body, sometimes in an animal body, and therefore the engagements of our material senses are also changing. Anything which changes is called temporary or asat. We should know that beyond these temporary senses are our permanent senses, which are now covered by the material body. The permanent senses, being contaminated by matter, are not acting properly. Devotional service therefore involves freeing the senses from this contamination. When the contamination is completely removed and the senses act in the purity of unalloyed Krishna consciousness, we have then attained Sat Indriya or eternal sense activities. Eternal sensory activities are called devotional service, whereas temporary sensory activities are called sense gratification. Unless one becomes tired of material sense gratification, there is no opportunity to hear transcendental messages from a person like Kapila. Devhuti expressed that she was tired now that her husband had left home. She wanted to get relief by heeding the instructions of Lord Kapila. The Vedic literature describes this material world as darkness. Actually, it is dark and therefore we require sunlight, moonlight and electricity. If it were not by nature dark, why would we require so many arrangements for artificial light? The Vedas enjoin that we should not remain in darkness. Tasmasi ma jyotirgama, tamso ma jyotirgama. We are instructed to go to the light, and that light is the spiritual world, which is directly lighted by the effulgence or bodily rays of Krishna, as stated in Brahma Samhita. Yasa prabha प्रभावतो जगत् अन्धाकोटि कोटिस्व अशेषा वसुधादि विभूति भिन्नम तद ब्रह्म निष्कलम अनंतम अशेषा भूतम गोविंदम आदि पुरुषम तम अहम भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahma, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Animals have no ability to know that they are in darkness, but human beings can know. Like Devhuti, an intelligent person should become disgusted with the darkness of ignorance. Na kanyate hanyamane sarire, as stated in Bhagavad-gita, chapter 2, stanza number 20, there is neither birth nor death for the soul. The soul is not destroyed when the body is annihilated. The soul puts bodies on and takes them off like clothes. This simple knowledge is instructed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Yet there are many big scholars and leaders who still cannot understand that the body is different from the person. This is because they do not study Bhagavad Gita in the proper way. Consequently, no one is fully aware or convinced that the real person is not the body. This is called darkness, and when one is disgusted with this darkness, human life begins. One who becomes disgusted with the material existence needs the instructions of a guru. Tasmad Gurum Prapadeyata Jijnasuhu Shreya Uttamam. Being the wife of a great yogi, Devhuti understood her constitutional position. Therefore, she is placing her problem before her son Kapildeva, an incarnation of God. Although Kapildeva is her son, Devhuti does not hesitate to take instructions from him. She does not say, "Oh, he is my son, what can he tell me? I am his mother and I shall instruct him." Instruction has to be taken from one who is in knowledge. It does not matter what his position is, whether he is a son, a boy, a Sudra, Brahmana, Sannyasi, or Grahastha. One should simply learn from one who knows. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was a Brahmana and a sannyasi, he took instructions from Ramananda Raya, who was a Sudra and Grahastha, but nonetheless very exalted spiritually. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that Ramananda Raya was hesitant to give instructions, the Lord said, "Why are you hesitating? Although you are a Grihastha and are born in a Shudra family, I am prepared to take lessons from you." Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Sudra Kene Naya Ye Krishna Tatva Veta Si Guru Haya. Chaitanya Madhya, Chapter 8, stanza number 128. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Whoever is qualified in Krishna consciousness can become a guru. His family or material identity does not matter. He simply must know the science. When we consult an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, we do not ask whether he is a Brahmana or a Sudra. If he is qualified, he can help with a particular subject. Similarly, if one knows the science of Krishna, he can be a guru. Devhuti was taking lessons from her son because he knew the science of Krishna. Even if gold is in a filthy place, we should take it. It is also stated in the Vedas that if a girl is highly qualified or beautiful, she can be accepted in marriage even though born in a lower family. Thus, it is not birth that is important, but qualification. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone in India to know the science of Krishna and preach Krishna consciousness. This is very simple. We need only repeat what Krishna has said or what has been said about Krishna in the Vedic literature. Human society cannot be happy without Krishna consciousness. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and we are his servants. The master is enjoying and the servants are helping the master enjoy. We living entities are eternal servants of God and our duty is to help our master enjoy. Srimati Radharani is the topmost servant of Krishna and her business is always to keep Krishna pleased. Krishna is very fond of Radharani because she renders the best service. Her 64 qualifications are mentioned in the Vedic literature. Unfortunately, in the material world, we are busy trying to enjoy our material senses. As stated in Bhagavad-Gita, chapter number 3, stanza number 42, Indriyani prani ahur Indriyani dhya parammanah mansoto prabuddhir yo buddhe prantas tosaha. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. The soul is on the spiritual platform. On the material platform, we are interested in gratifying our senses. In this way, we become implicated in the laws of nature, as stated in the Shastras. Nunam pramataha kurute vikrama yad indriya partaya aparnoti na sadho manye yata atamno yam asan api kaleshada asa deha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Bhagavatam chapter 5 part 5 stanza number 4. Living entities in this material world are very busy trying to gratify their senses. In the street we see many dogs assembled for sex. This may seem very crude, but human beings are engaged in the same business. Perhaps in a more elaborate way, we should know the sense gratification is meant for animals and that sense control is for human beings. By tapasya, penance, we can purify ourselves and regain our eternal life. Actually, our material senses are not our real senses. They are covered just as the body is covered by clothes. Our real body is within the material body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. The spiritual body is within the material body. The material body is changing, going through childhood, youth, then old age, and then it vanishes. Although this is not our real body, we are engaged in sense gratification with it. However, for our own ultimate happiness, we should try to purify our senses. There is no question of destroying the senses or becoming desireless. Desire is a material activity, and becoming desireless is not possible. The senses must be purified in order for us to act through them transcendentally. Bhak- Bhakti yoga does not require us to destroy our senses but to purify them. When the senses are purified, we can serve Krishna. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam कर्षिकेन हर्षिकेशा सेवनम भक्तिर उच्यते. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and simply by employing in the service of Lord, one's senses are purified. Narda Pancharatra. We can serve Hrishikesha, the master of the senses. Through the senses, we are part and parcel of Krishna, just as the hand is part and parcel of the body. Similarly, our senses are also part and parcel of the spiritual body of Krishna. When we purify our senses, we can act in our original constitutional position and serve Krishna. When we forget our position and try to satisfy ourselves, we become conditioned materially. When we forget that our duty is to serve Krishna, we fall into the material world and become implicated in personal sense gratification. As long as we continue trying to satisfy our own senses, we have to accept another body. Krishna is so kind that if we want to become tigers, he will give us a tiger body. If we want to become devotees, he will give us the body of a devotee. This life is a preparation for the next. And if we want to enjoy our transcendental senses, we have to purify ourselves to return home back to Godhead. For this purpose, Devhuti is submitting to her son just as a disciple submits to his master. Text 8. Tasya tvam tamso nidhasha दुष्परद्यदा परगम सच्चक्षुर जन्मम अन्ते लब्धम मे त्वद अनुग्रहत. Translation. Our Lordship is my only means of getting out of this darkest region of ignorance, because you are my transcendental I, which by your mercy only I have attained after many, many births. Purport. This verse is very instructive since it indicates the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. The disciple or conditioned soul is put into this darkest region of ignorance and therefore is entangled in the material existence of sense gratification. It is very difficult to get out of this entanglement and attain freedom. But if one is fortunate enough to get association of a spiritual master like Kapil Muni or his representative, then by his grace one can be delivered from the mire of ignorance. The spiritual master is therefore worshipped as one who delivers the disciple from the mire of ignorance with the light of torch of knowledge. The word Pragam is very significant. Pragam refers to one who can take the disciple to the other side. This side is conditioned life, the other side is the life of freedom. The spiritual master takes the disciple to the other side by opening his eyes with knowledge. We are suffering simply because of ignorance. By the instruction of spiritual master, the darkness of ignorance is removed and thus the disciple is enabled to go to the side of freedom. It is stated in Bhagavadgita that after many births, one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, if after many births one is able to find a bona fide spiritual master and surrender to such a bona fide representative of Krishna, he can be taken to the side of light. The bona fide spiritual master is a true Vedantist, for he actually knows Vedanta and the Vedas and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The word Veda means knowledge and Anta means last phase. There are different types of knowledge. We are interested in ordinary knowledge for economic benefits, but that is not actual knowledge. That is the art of livelihood. One may study to be an electrician and earn his livelihood by repairing electric lines. This kind of knowledge is called Shilpa Jnana. Real knowledge, however, is Vedic knowledge, knowing oneself what one is and what God is, and understanding one's relationship with God and one's duty. One who is searching after knowledge is called Jnanavan. Knowledge begins with the inquiry. Athato Brahma Jijnana. What is Brahma? Knowledge also begins by understanding the threefold miseries of material world. Adhyatmika, Abhi-bhautika, Adhi-bhautika and Adhi-devika. We are suffering from miseries caused by other living entities and acts of nature as well as from miseries arising from the body and mind themselves. The soul is aloof from the body and mind, but he suffers due to material contamination. We have no control over these threefold miseries. They are controlled by Krishna maid servant goddess Durga, who is material nature. She is not independent of Krishna. However, she is so powerful that she can create and maintain Prakriti. Nature can be very unkind. Mother Durga is often portrayed as chastising demons by piercing them with a trident. Those who are learned and intelligent look to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief from the threefold miseries of material existence. Although this material world is nothing but darkness, people are very proud of their eyes. They are always saying, "Can you show me God?" The answer to that is, "Have you eyes to see God?" That is the emphasis placed on seeing. Certainly, God can be seen as stated in Brahma Samhita. Prem Jnana Chahurita Bhakti Vilas Chanena Govinda. Krishna is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed by the pulp of love. If we are devotees, lovers of God, the ointment of love will clear our eyes. In order to see God, we have to cleanse our eyes by wiping away the cataracts of material contamination. Although we may be eager to see God, we cannot see Him with these material eyes. Not only can we not see Him, but we cannot understand Him. Although His name is there, understanding God means first of all understanding His name. Therefore, from the beginning we should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. God is not different from His name. Krishna's name and Krishna's persons are the same. Absolute means that Krishna's name, form, place, dress, pastime, and everything are non-different from him. Krishna is present in his name, but because we have no love for him, we cannot see him. Sanatana Goswami was a great learned scholar and he was called a Pandita, which indicates that he was a learned Brahmana. When Sanatana Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, "The people in my neighborhood are calling me a Pandita and I am very unhappy because of this." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, "Why are you dissatisfied?" Sanatana Goswami replied, "I am such a poor Pandita that I do not even know the goal of life. I do not even know what is beneficial for me. I am simply being carried away by sense gratification." In this way, Sanatana Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not approach him to get some gold or some medicine. He went to find out his real self-interest. This is the real purpose of approaching a guru. Devahuti approached Lord Kapilava in the same way. She said, "My dear Kapila, you have come as my son, but you are my guru because you can inform me how I can cross the ocean of nescience, which is the material world. Thus, one who feels the need to cross the dark ocean of nescience, which is material existence, requires a guru. It is not the guru's task to supply gold and medicine. Now it has become a fashion to keep a guru as if he were a dog or a cat. This is of no use. We must inquire about that portion of God's creation which is beyond this darkness. The Upanishads and Bhagavad-Gita describe another world beyond this material nature. According to Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 15, stanza number 6, "Na tad bhashayate suryo, na sasanko, na pavakaha, yad gatva na niv nivartante tad dharma paramam mama." That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. It is not possible for us to go to that pra- Pravyoma by material means. It is impossible to penetrate the material universe unless one understands Krishna. One can be enlightened by the mercy of God because Krishna himself comes to give us information. If he does not come personally, he sends his devotee or he leaves behind him Bhagavad Gita. However, we are so foolish that we do not take advantage of them. We do not take advantage of his devotee who hankers to give this knowledge, sacrificing everything. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Brahmananda Darhanite Kona Bhagwan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija." The fallen conditioned living entity trapped by the external energy loiters in the material world, but if by good fortune he meets a bona fide representative of the Lord, and if he takes advantage of such a guru, he receives the seed of devotional service. Chaitanya Mahamadhya. The seed of devotional service is received by a most fortunate person. Those who are cultivating bhakti in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness are the most fortunate people in the world. By Krishna's mercy, one can receive the Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of devotional service. Unless one is free from the reactions of sin one cannot understand Bhakti or Bhagwan. Therefore, we must act piously by giving up illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. If we lead a pious life, we can understand God. This Krishna consciousness movement is engaged in training people to this end so that their lives will be successful. So I complete this video here, and next video number 8 will start with text number 9, chapter number 6. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video. Subscribe the channel. Namaskar my dear friends. Namaskar.